Hi guys, welcome to Fierce and Pretty. Honey here. Today I'm doing a short VR to Manuela Place of Stillness because she did a little video talking about witchy aesthetics. So we're sitting at my very empty tarot attic, and because my life situation is so linked to this topic that I just had to squeeze in a little video. So I haven't been making a lot of videos lately because we are in the process of buying a house and selling this apartment. Finally. Things are still, under some situations, but so far so good. So last week we made an offer from a house and it was accepted, and today we were doing this kind of inspection in that home, in that house, where the professionals check everything, so is everything under order and so on. So the thing is moving. Of course, when we did our offer, we had to start to put our apartment ready to be put on the market. And this is where the witchy aesthetics jump into the picture. For me, I personally don't kind of like so much about the term witchy aesthetic, because if you've been watching my channel for a while, and you would know by now that I do have a ton of shit, like so much. I don't know, maybe it's because of my rising Taurus that likes to, be a real hoarder. Maybe that's the thing. Or maybe the fact that I am a grown-ass adult who has a job, who can afford to buy things just because I want them. So when it comes to the things that are in my house, that are a part of my craft, that are the tools that I use in my craft, and then also plenty of not so necessary or critical stuff, but just things that I've wanted, that I could survive without, but I just love having them. And for me, they are tools to use in my craft. But for other people, when they walk into the house and they see like walls of tarot cards, or the massive stocks of tarot cards that I used to have on that table there, or my potion cabinet that was filled inside and outside, like with cauldrons and pots and candle holders and whatever. So to other people it might look like witchy aesthetics, even though for me they are just my stuff that are there. And when it comes to, for example, first of all, my appearances, I do have one could consider some of my tattoos kind of like witchy aesthetics, even though for me I don't really see them that way. I have like herb bundles and tarot cards and goddess Isis, whatever. Now my new sacred geometry is still healing. I don't know if you can see it, but it's still not healed perfectly, so it's on its way. But I guess my tattoos are part of my witchy aesthetics on my appearance. And I do have witchy rings today, kind of little. I only have my 2 pentacle rings and my jewelry. And for me, most of my jewelry is, first of all, they are secondhand, like these 2 necklaces are both secondhand, and majority of my jewelry are. But for me, I also use jewelry by using them as talismans, whatever. So at least I don't think that I wear them so that somebody else could consider me witchy. They're important to me, and they're a way for me to carry a part of my practice with me. So that's how I see them. And about my clothing, I don't think that I don't like have a very specific style that I would consider anyhow part of witchy aesthetics. I do love to wear black. It's just always been like that. It's just the fact that it's my comfortable color. I don't buy clothes with that intention or according to a specific aesthetics. I don't buy clothes at all nowadays. I order something online if it's totally necessary, to be honest. But I'm just not that interested of how I look nowadays. But boy, was the process of stripping this home down from all the witchy aesthetics that were all around. All of my tarot cards, I've been meaning to film a full tarot collection video. I still have one deck in the mail coming, so when that arrives, I'll get to that. But then I will have to dig out all the rest of my decks because they are in the trunk that used to be my attic altar, which is now stripped down to look perfectly natural, like coffee table kind of way. Because when you're putting your house on the market, you can't expect people to walk in and be able to imagine themselves living in a place that looks like crazy, which has vomited all over the place. So that's the reason why I had to take that down. The pictures I had, like Pixie's picture, I had Aleister Crowley, Lady Frida Harris, and then some tarot cards on the wall, and all the statues, all the chalices, pentacles, weird random candles, herb bundles, runes, you name it. I was able to hide some of the stuff because the biggest thing was to take my potion cabinet, the turquoise one that was originally bought to the summer cottage that we had last summer, and it was kind of like an extra furniture in our living room. It had really no space, but it was just jammed there. But it was filled with herbs and oils and incense and everything, and we had to take it to the garage to give the living room more spacey atmosphere and more white and like very Nordic kind of more stylish, even though I don't have like fancy stylish furniture, but tone it down a lot. So I hid my herb jars, the huge ones, on top of the fridge, even though they should be in the dark, but now I don't have a place where to put them, but so they can survive there for a while. And I've been jamming the stuff. John has now, I loved the comment that I got in Instagram. Thank you, milady, for that. But like she said that, yeah, John looks like a muggle now. So I love that. But the altar on top of John is now stripped down, and all my very like important and fragile stuff have been stuffed inside John's belly, and to keep them safe until we finally get to move. And that was kind of an eye-opening experience. First I started to take away the tarot wall that I had in the living room with the images from the Le Tarot Noir deck. I love that kind of big painting thing that I did. I guess it was already 2 summers ago when I did that. But I wanted to take it down so people can see that the wall is intact, that because all these little frames were attached by this stickers, so just things like that. But then I realized that how much I do have like witchy shit lying around in this place, because for me I was so used to them, and I love creating the atmosphere at home where I feel like really comfortable and cozy around my stuff. I loved that I was able to burn candles on the altar and incense and everything, and I had to take all my incense to the garage just so that I won't be burning them, because we want to have a fresh house when people come in. So it's no incense for me until we moved out. It is an interesting process to strip away a big part of one's identity from the home and only keep the few necessary, critical stuff that are actually the things that I do need for my practice close to me. But I do have a lot of stuff that is not truly necessary, but I love having them, and I love that I've been able to, pamper myself by getting, secondhand goodies or whatever, things that are important to me. So I don't know, maybe people would call that all that stuff that I have, or the way that I present myself to the world, kind of like witchy aesthetic. Maybe it's a language thing, I don't see it like that, but it probably is that to other people's eyes. But I just had to kind of talk a little bit about how I realized that during this past weekend when I was stripping down the house and getting it look all presentable, that how much witchy things I had all around. I still need to put my broom in somewhere before the open houses, but until that day comes, the broom stays there. And also I decided to keep my crystals on the shelf, because they look kind of harmless. And also my ancestral altar, well, people do have pictures of their dead relatives, so no biggie. And also on top of this window here, when it was Ostara, I had my painted eggs there, and now because of Beltane I do have these little red tea light lanterns, and that's my Beltane decoration this year. But they are there and they represent to me that kind of Beltane decoration, and still they look totally harmless and wouldn't bother anybody. So I managed to keep a wee bit of witchy aesthetics even during this house process. But also, guys, be patient if I might not be that active during this future weeks or months. Let's see, because when the day finally comes that we do get the keys to the new house, we need to start a renovation, but you know me, I'll sure be showing you around that place too, if anybody's interested to see where I will move all my witchy aesthetics. And the biggest thing is that in that house I get to create myself a place where there is a bathtub, a flower wall, and finally my own yard and my own garden, and a place for a fire pit outside. It's gonna be amazing. So if you want to see how things move ahead, stay tuned. Thanks Manuela for the tag. That felt kind of really relevant to me during these days now. And until next time, bye guys.